welcome, and thank you all for coming this evening to the finals event of the Mirage International DeserTech competition.
Meet DeserTech, one of the most promising sectors in the world. Technologies that solve desert challenges. As our planet becomes increasingly hotter, drier, and less fertile, innovators operating in the fields of infrastructure, agriculture, water, and energy can help manage our water resources, adapt to extreme climates, rejuvenate degraded soils, produce renewable energy, and provide services to remote communities. The DeserTech community brings together entrepreneurs, corporates, investors, researchers, and governments from around the world to adapt and scale technologies that build desert resilience while increasing regional collaboration. Operating from Israel's Negev Desert, a living lab of science and technology, we invite you to exchange and gain professional knowledge, connect with partners, and mobilize resources for growth. Join us. Together, we can combat desertification.
So welcome again. My name is Sivan Cohen-Shachari. I'm the director of DeserTech Community, and we are very happy to have you here with us this evening in the finals event of the DeserTech International Competition. It is a great honor to host you here in Beersheba and to have this great audience with us from Israel and abroad online. This evening will be dedicated to Israeli and international innovations in desert-oriented technologies, and it is a great opportunity to celebrate this exciting DeserTech emerging ecosystem. I want to thank our partners and founders who made this all come true: Mirage Foundation Israel, Israel Innovation Institute, Ministry of Environmental Protection, and Ben-Gurion University. And of course, our partners for this competition: Mata Association, ICA in Israel Foundation, the British Embassy in Israel, the British Council, the Whole Clean Growth Alliance, and the Embassy of the Netherlands in Israel. I would like to invite Mr. David Mirage, Chairman of the Mirage Foundation Israel.
Greetings, I am David Mirage, Chairman and CEO of Mirage Foundation in Israel. As you know, Israel is a very small country with a small population. It does not have much of resources, but the greatest resource that Israel has is the human brain power. The technology that Israel has come up with in the past 10, 15 years has been amazing, and the world is benefiting from that. The climate around the world has changed drastically. It is affecting every nation. We see it in fires and floods. We see it in dry and wet areas. The only way we can deal with this crisis is through human power and technology, and Israel has that. I want to thank the government of Israel for its support, especially the Minister of Environment Protection, who has been our partner. Also, I would like to express my thanks and appreciation to British and Dutch government for their involvement with the projects. Thanks to the judges for going through numerous applications. Our hope is that the technology that we are going to introduce is going to bring peace and prosperity to the world. The only way to deal with difficulties of the world is for people to come together and share ideas and become partners in bringing peace to all of us.
Thank you, David. I would like to invite Dr. Yonatan Menuchin, CEO of Israel Innovation Institute.
Thank you all. I'm quite excited to be here. To everyone that doesn't know us yet, the Israel Innovation Institute promotes Israeli technologies to solve global challenges. This is our mission and this is our target. Currently, we're operating in 6 areas: EcoMotion for smart mobility, Health IL for digital health, Growing IL for precision agriculture, DeserTech, of course, PlanetTech for climate change technologies, Catalyst for managing innovation, and next month we are going to operate a new innovation communities, aquaculture, in Elat. You can call it Tikkun Olam, if you want to take the spiritual side of it. You can say that we are leading the Israeli entrepreneur to the sweet spot, that we think that they gain a lot of money from the other side. We don't care. We just want to solve, we want to make the situation much better. Celebrating the Mirage DeserTech competition, I think it's a wonderful steps and important steps in this journey. And I'm really happy to be here. Israel per se cannot tackle all the needed technology. However, we in the Institute believe that Israel can become a significant player in this task and lead the required transformation in the world. This is the task of Sivan, Sinai, Hillel, and all the others that will join in this wonderful innovation community. DeserTech is a global Israeli innovation community based in Beersheba. This is the vision, and we will be there, and if we are not here. The DeserTech community is helping novel technologies and the adaptation of traditional technologies to the desert. They develop different tools for market education, to bring more resources, capabilities, and connection to make this area flourish. And this is only the beginning, and I know it is going to be much bigger in the end. I'm delighted that the Ministry of Environment Protection, headed by Minister Zeinberg, the Mirage Foundation of David Mirage, headed by my friend Nicole Hod, the Ben-Gurion University, join us in this journey. So thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for all the entrepreneurs that want to change the world. And of course, to the winner, I hope that you will become the next unicorn and will remember us, remember this competition here in Beersheba then. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jonathan. It is a great pleasure to create meaningful and visionary collaborations with 2 of the most innovative countries in the world. This opportunity is just the beginning for us. I would like to invite Mark Power, Charter Affairs of the British Embassy in Israel.
Thanks. It's a small irony here that 2 of the wettest nations in Europe are somehow partnering with DeserTech, but no, it's a great privilege to be here. It's fantastic to be in Beersheba, a little change in scenery. And really, thank you very much to all of those who've been involved in organizing not only, of course, this event, but also the competition in general, and in particular, the Ministry of Environmental Protection, as has mentioned, the Israel Innovation Authority, and of course, all of those organizing DeserTech and the Mirage Foundation. So thank you very much for having us all here and for putting on and putting together such an exciting program. So I wanted to sort of reflect on 3 things, really. The first being, of course, that for the UK, everything relating to the environment and climate is particularly important for us this year because of our presidency, well, because of the seriousness of the challenge, but formally because we are, of course, the host of COP26. And we were very pleased and proud that of the outcomes from Glasgow, a range of announcements made, including breakthroughs on the Adaptation Research Alliance and the Glasgow Climate Pact. And I know also, of course, the Netherlands is very much involved in hosting many of the adaptation technologies and the ecosystem around that. And that is extremely important to this agenda, and it's why it's so important that we're putting some of the world's best minds together, and we'll be hearing from them in terms of those challenges, and then bringing them here together in Israel. We are, of course, the will be here later, I understand, and extremely pleased to see the seriousness with which the new Israeli government has taken the climate agenda and really committed itself to being a solution finder for the challenges that exist in the global climate crisis. Israel's reputation as an innovation leader goes without saying. Its desert innovation is a prime example of this, and as you have proven with using water and fertilizer more efficiently, growing crop resistance to disease and drought, and harnessing data above and below ground to increase quality and quantity. So that's why, secondly, we were really pleased to be part of this event. The UK track is supported by a program we have implemented by the British Council called the Wall Clean Growth Alliance, which is an initiative we're running. It's our flagship program for supporting research-led collaboration around the themes of water, food, and energy between Israel and the UK. It's supporting this track, but it is also something in which people can apply for grants for research linked to UK and Israeli collaborations around those themes. So for those of you who don't know about it and who are in the market for grants, we very much encourage you to be part of it. And then the third aspect I wanted to draw attention to is partly the bilateral agenda. Our Foreign Minister Lapid was in London earlier this month, last month actually, and he and our Foreign Secretary Liz Truss agreed to work together on a range of ambitious new agenda items, and one of them very much links to this initiative here. If you take it from the ground level at producing the research, the initiative that they were also talking about looks at finding financing to work with countries in the region to make some of these projects and some of these ideas become a reality in countries both here in Israel but around the region, and we are going to be coming forth with programs and plans to bring some of those to realization in the coming months. So that is a very exciting space. So not only do we have the top level kind of climate ambition, we have the projects designed to come up with the ideas and are coming up with an implementation mechanism to deliver them on the ground. So we're very pleased to be part of this program, bring UK innovation to the desert and engage with Israeli experts, learn how their technologies can be adapted to new landscapes. And you'll soon see, I think, a video of the UK winners to complement those exciting presentations from the Israeli side and the Dutch side as well. So thanks very much, everyone, and look forward to hearing from everyone else.
Thank you, Mark. I would like to invite Ms. Marike Monroy, Deputy Head of Mission of the Netherlands Embassy in Israel.
Thank you, and it's such a pleasure to be here and to be in Beersheba. I'm also happy that there is such a good turnout here tonight, and there are even more people joining us online. So I especially want to thank of course, the Israeli, British and Dutch participants to this competition, and also the partners, Mirage Foundation, DeserTech, Ministry of Environment, Innovation, Israeli Innovation Center, and of course our British colleagues. So with the global challenges of our time and the impact of climate crisis becoming more apparent every year, countries around the world are suffering from changes, and they are similar. So I think it is really the time to collaborate and to look for partnerships in this issue. And now the Netherlands and Israel, we are already involved in many partnerships. And now that the new government has shown more ambition also in the field of climate change, I think we will only see this cooperation intensifying, and there's so much room for doing things together. So we are really thrilled about that. And I think this also, this cooperation with the DeserTech competition is a very good example. Now, of course, you may wonder, the Netherlands and deserts, what do they have to do together? Isn't that a very green country that suffers from too much water? Well, I must say this is changing, and we are facing the climate change also in our country. And there are parts in the Netherlands where we do suffer from droughts. And we also have to deal with, still with the old problem of sometimes having too much water, as we have all faced during the summer when there were these floods that even took lives in Germany, in Belgium. and destroyed a lot of objects, houses, and so this is still very much still part of our life as well. But also the drought, and now this is something that we also deal with. Luckily, we are also known to have a lot of knowledge and technologies that come with the history of handling lots of water that can also be used for desert challenges. You would not imagine, but it is, such as flash floods that you know so well here in Israel. You don't have a lot of water, and all of a sudden there is too much of it. And well, knowing how to handle water is something that is in our DNA, I think, in the Netherlands. So we might bring something to the table in terms of solutions. Now, what is more, the Netherlands also has an open and internationally oriented economy and a strong foundation of amazing research facilities that form the basis of our ability to address water-related desert challenges worldwide. And our research facilities are also well versed in the problems of land degradation. As you may know, for a small country, it's a bit strange that the Netherlands is actually the #2 exporter of agricultural products in the world. Only the United States beats us, but after that it's us, which is strange for such a small place. Now, of course, since we have a small place, we have to address the issues and be smart about how to produce things. And this also comes in handy when you deal with degradation issues, the knowledge that we have. Now, all of these elements make DeserTech important to the Netherlands, and a field in which we can both contribute our unique perspective, but also learn from the experiences and knowledge of others. And this is what makes this competition so great, because that's exactly what the aim is. So, this broad basis to address future challenges is also reflected in the participants that applied for the DeserTech seminar. From solutions in rainwater harvesting and optimized renewable energy to soil regeneration, these Dutch innovators are uniquely situated to address the desert challenges in a comprehensive manner. Now, in extending the Dutch-Israeli cooperation to include DeserTech, we continue to learn from each other and foster exchange and business opportunities between our two countries. And I really hope that this event represents our continued commitment to that goal and will lead to very nice future cooperation initiatives. So thank you very much, and I'm thrilled to see the winners of tonight.
Thank you very much. DeserTech is an emerging sector that focuses on solving 4 main global challenges of arid environments. These challenges are becoming more urgent as climate changes intensifies and desertification expands. Extreme climate, water scarcity, land degradation, and remote and marginal living. In October, we launched the Mirage International DeserTech competition in Expo Dubai, calling for Israeli startups to offer their technologies to tackle these challenges. We also called UK and Netherlands-based companies there with technologies that have the potential to be adapted to arid climates to apply and participate in a special DeserTech technology adaptation seminar here in Beersheba. In today's event, we will have the opportunity to hear the solutions of 6 finalists from the Israeli track. The judging committee will hear the pitches and vote live. We also will get to know the UK and Netherlands companies that will join the seminar we were just mentioning in March 22. And we will also announce the winners of the Israeli and the Negev-based company track. The group of finalists was selected by our committed judging and professional committee of the Israeli track. From here, I want to thank all of you with great appreciation to all the wonderful judging committee who represent a local and global ecosystem of experts, investors, industry leaders, research and policy makers. Thank you for your contribution, assessment and guidance throughout the process and for your important contribution to this competition. The 6 companies who made it to the finals come from different development stages and different sectors. Each startup will get 4 minutes to pitch and then will be asked one question by one judge. After the pitching, the judges will decide and we will know who the winners are. I want to wish you all good luck, and here they are. So let's get started. 6 finalists, looking for the first one. Arava EC&T, please to the stage.
So Arava was founded in 2009 in the Arava Institute at Kibbutz Ktorah, and since then we're dealing with the energy efficiency, renewable energy, and the project relating to sustainability all over Israel. The challenge that we're trying to solve relates to agricultural waste. Palm tree grows for 40 years, and during that time, it produces about 4 tons of fruit, of dates. At the end of his life, the palm tree is being thrown away, the tree itself. He also being irrigated with about 500 liters a day, which is quite a lot. And the same can be said for a lot of other agricultural crops that we're growing in the desert or in other places. What we've been planning and offer, with the help of the Ministry of Energy, we've been planned a system that uses gasification process, a thermal process to take the biomass from the agricultural waste, turn it into gas. Gas itself has about the value of about third the calorific value of natural gas. It's being fed to a generator, produce electricity. When you do that in Europe, the system itself produces a lot of heat. About for every kilowatt electricity that it produces 2 kilowatts of heat, thermal heat. You can leave it on that slide. Israel, as you know, specifically in the desert, we don't have much use for heat. So what we've done, we've turned that heat into a purification system to take the water, the brackish water or the saline water, and with the thermal conversion to turn it into usable water again. Also, the electricity can be used also for reverse osmosis, besides the use for the grid itself. So basically what we built is an off-grid system that being fed with agricultural waste from the farmers, goes into the gasifier that can be used in different forms of waste, into the gasifier, produce electricity and heat. The electricity can go either to the grid or to another application on site. The heat turns the water into usable water, the brackish water into usable water, which can be either for drinking water or for irrigation. So creating circular economy, actually. Today we are I think that's what I just explained. So you can go. Today we are on the verge of actually building the project in Ramat HaNegev, near Tziot, again with the support of the Ministry of Energy in Israel. And hopefully the pilot of about 50 kilowatt electricity with a 100 kilowatt thermal would work and show the benefit of the system where we can upscale it. Thank you very much.
I want to invite Shirley Shachar to ask a question, please.
2 questions that I have in mind. The first one is about IP and the possibility to have some kind of a patent for the aggregation system. We appreciate very much the ability to aggregate a few technologies together, but we want to protect our technologies as well.
Right now we don't hold any patents. I'm not sure if we will be able to have a patent on the integration. Besides that, I'm not sure I want to patent it.
Okay, the second question is about logistics and financial models. I'm from Dan Accelerator, so we appreciate very much the food waste vertical. But we know that it relies a lot about the financial model. And I wanted to ask if you have
If you would
If
go
you've
to the last
done
slide, maybe you
all
can see
calculations
the...
before. And if you've included all of the logistics inside, also the carbon imprint for logistics, because not all the waste is concentrated on the same place.
Exactly. We don't... The thing is this. In 2011, we got we managed a project from Tride Foundation together with the Ministry of Energy to check the potential of producing synthetic diesel from different crops all over Israel. So we sent about 40 tons to Germany, to 2 factories, to check the actual syndiesel quality from, I think, almost any kind of residues, biological residues from Israel. And we discovered that it's very hard to maintain a specific quality. It's all the time fluctuates. So we start thinking how we can manage that. So we decided to go back to the gas phase before going to the fluid phase. So we went back to the gas phase, and there we started to play with the number and see what would be the minimal distance for delivery of the waste. And we realized that we cannot go more than 100 kilometers, okay, radius. And then we started to look for if there is any systems in the world that can be local. So far, until then, we all the time thought about big factories that will manage, let's say, the south, the center, and the north. And then we went to look for small, modular, and we had this concept that it needs to be very modular. It needs to be in a container. It needs to be easily shipped from one place to the other. And we found one. And then we found another one, and we signed the contracts with both companies. And then we saw that, again, back to the presentation, we don't have any use for the heat in Israel. We start looking for solutions for the heat, and I won't repeat the presentation again. But eventually, the financial models support localized systems where it can be either one container or you can duplicate that up to 10.
Thank you. Thank you, and good luck. I want to invite the second company, Air. Louise Corman, please.
What does a medical device company have in common with water scarcity in the desert? Well, they have in common the 3 of us. That's Rotem, Gershon, and I. We all work together in a medical device company called Iridian, now Medtronic, not a small company. At Iridian, we became experts in a membrane technology, a technology we used then for drying a patient's breath. Here. Now, we wish to apply this technology to solve a global challenge called water scarcity. Okay, I'm Joshua. Before we get to this picture, we'll go back to just Joshua. I'm Joshua, I'm a physicist. I was many, many years, over 25 years, chief scientist and head of R&D at Iridian and some other companies too. My colleague Rotem over there, he's in the picture, he was in the picture before. My colleague Rotem has been in business development for many years, including 11 years of director of business development in a water purification company. And Gershon, who's not here tonight, well, he's a physicist, always been a scientist, and is an excellent scientist and continues to be a scientist, and he's not young either. Okay, so the 3 of us were for many years, 25 years, collecting dried air, throwing away water. Till it dawned upon us that we're basically throwing away one of the most important resources on our planet, water. And if you can actually separate water vapor out from air, then you can collect it too. And that's precisely what we wish to do. We wish to collect water anywhere and any position, and even in the desert. So, we're going to go a few slides forward, if I find it. So how do we do it with a specific membrane? Well, if you pass continuously air across the membrane, not through, across, above, and you maintain a gradient of water vapor from one side to the other, then water vapor continuously flows to the second side. And if you have separated out the water vapor, then you can cool or compress and condense out the water, but just the water vapor. Okay, so going back let's go back here, that's the water. So anyway, this time, has to be this line I had to say. Okay, so this time we collect the water and throw away the dried air. That was what I was supposed to say, fine. Going back, 1, 2, we're not going back. We're not going back, fine. Okay, wrong direction. Well, it doesn't make any difference. Anyway, we're not alone. We're not alone. We're not the first company to start trying to squeeze water out of air. There are several companies already there. But we believe that we have 3 major advantages. One, we have 1 minute. One, the first advantage, great advantage, is that we are only processing 1%, the water vapor which is separated out, and not the entire mass like the other companies. 2, inherently the membrane blocks any bacteria, viruses, COVID, and I don't have my mask, COVID or dust particles, anything. So we do not require any particle filters, we do not need disinfection, we provide pure water. That saves a lot of maintenance. 3, and thirdly, I have pictures here, but it disturbs more than anything else. The cherry on top. The existing technologies today are quite climate dependent. They cannot perform in all climates, and for sure not in the desert. Our technology using a membrane allows you to work also in areas like the desert.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And now for the question from Dr. Inbar Maimon Pomeranchik, please.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for inviting us. It's really nice to be face-to-face finally. I have 2 questions. The first one is, what is your business model? How do you... Okay, so I will continue with the next one, which is more general question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
I would have said an old age home, yeah, but no, I prefer Dio Morgan. Fine, where do we see ourselves in 5 years?
Business-wise, of course.
Oh, again, go get my colleague here. Rotem, what's the call? It's a pleasure to invite Rotem to the stage. Rotem's, and he's better looking than I.
Hi. In terms of where we see ourselves, so we see ourselves as a technology provider, either as a motor selling to the motor company or as a company that sell car, meaning we will start with selling our system. We will produce a system that we will sell to household first, and then to a larger community, larger system, and later on we will see if we can also take our part of the technology and sell it as a motor in a car and not necessarily in our car. So this is in terms of business model, and we can work in 2 directions. Obviously, 5 years from today, it's quite a lot of time, but we do see a very large and growing market. This slide was skipped, but it's a very fast growing. It's a 23% CAGR market, so there is a room for our technology, and there is a lot of room for growth in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I please invite Ecolo GIS.
Thank you. Good evening for inviting us for this conference. The challenge Ecolo GIS is facing is soil erosion. Soil erosion is caused by hard rains falling on bare soil, creating loss of soil fertility, loss of crop yields, and loss and reduction in natural vegetation, which all leads to desertification. Our solution is a cloud-based GIS decision support system to estimate and map soil erosion risks. The system combines rain data and soil data to create a soil erosion map. which shows areas with high and low risks. Then we use remote sensing to monitor vegetation, both agriculture and natural vegetation. And we provide mitigation steps using agroecological methods and natural-based solutions. Next slide. We propose to work at the river basin level because this is the unit of area most suitable to manage both drainage and runoff and erosion. But we can scale it up to provide services over all deserts around the world, and we need to scale it down to the field level, where the mitigation steps take place. Here you have an example on the hills of Dir Rafat, above the Sorek River, where you see the white patches are patches of bare rock, with all the soil eroded and removed. Today, the Drainage Authority, using our map, is treating this area, working with the farmers in the vineyards and the olive orchards, using agroecological methods to reduce soil erosion. And so you see that it's easier to treat the trickle up the mountain than the flood down the mountain. Next slide. EcologyIS provides ecological consultation and spatial analysis services for agricultural, forestry, and nature conservation. We work mostly in Israel, working on nature conservation, forestry, agroecology, precision agriculture, and relating to David talk at the beginning of this evening. We also worked on some big fires that were here in Israel, and the image bottom right is the high-resolution image of the forest fire in the Carmel in 2010, showing trees damaged and trees staying alive. We also worked around the globe on wildlife management and forest management, like the Red Plus project in Nicaragua, which combined forest conservation with carbon sequestration. Next slide. Our next step, our vision is Ecosystem C4, a system that will collaborate and integrate data from remote sensing and field data collection to create a SaaS DSS, which will target these markets: drainage and soil, forestry and carbon, and agroecology, which combined tackle or treat large parts of the ecosystem. Today we are still a small startup, and we wish to be a global SaaS service. For us, it's not a job, it's a vocation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The judge who sent us a question for you is Professor Naftali Lazarovich from Ben-Gurion University. The technology of remote sensing has been available for about 3 decades. At the same time, there's still no significant adoption in agricultural management. What do you think are the main barriers, and is there a difference between arid and temperate areas?
Okay. The technology of remote sensing has been here even longer. Since the 70s, when the USGS used the Landsat to monitor the wheat fields in Russia, and so the Americans can know what's the economic situation in Russia. The barriers for using remote sensing in agriculture are several. First, there's still lack of ability to pinpoint to the farmer what he needs to do. The farmer wants to know what he needs to do. How much fertilizers he needs to put, how much water he needs to put. Remote sensing is very good, and today we have services which show the farmers what is changing, where does the vegetation grow, where it's desiccating, and for example, if he has problem with the irrigation system. Our next step in agriculture will be to tell him exactly how much water that he needs to put. Now, for a question about the usage of remote sensing in Mediterranean versus arid systems, it depends on what you want to monitor. If you want to monitor agriculture, then it's the same. Agriculture in Mediterranean area or in European habitat is the same as arid and with the same problems. You need to monitor the crops. If you're looking at natural systems, the systems are different. In northern areas or Mediterranean areas, we have forests, and in arid areas, we have low vegetation, grass or bushland, and trees are usually only at river channels. And therefore, the usage of remote sensing is different. And the indexes you need to use need to have a higher resolution in order to monitor the lower vegetation cover.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good luck. ZPAC, please, Alex Harel.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. EasyPick, as its name shows, it's in the business of water scarcity. I mean, I think everybody knows why the water is a problem, where there is some points here. It's expected that in 2025, almost 2 billion people will be suffering from water scarcity. And of course, when you're talking on the desert, it's become more severe. One thing that I want to point that in rural areas and desert area, many times water scarcity comes with a problem of either not sufficient or at all no electricity grid. Next. So what we are doing, we are focusing on off-grid clean water solution based on two technologies. One is our purification desalination system. That's for the cases the water is available, but it's not drinkable. The other technology is atmospheric water generator producing water out of the air. We also concentrating on rural areas, remote locations, small villages, small agriculture, where it's almost always combined with electricity grid problems. Our purification system is based on our EasyPure. It's a robotic, very compact system. The size is about 120 centimeters on 40 on 40. The purification model can produce about 500 liters per day, and the desalination about 300 per hour, sorry, and the desalination about 300 liters per hour, and working on a model of 1,000 liters per hour. It's a fully robotic system, doing everything by itself. No technical knowledge is needed to operate it, and it consumes very low energy. The purification about 1 kilowatt hour, and the desalination about 2. Our air water generator is based on a very unique technology that we developed, which we call it storing energy in water. The problem with AWG system, it's preferably work at night, and then in order to operate the system, you need electricity. So you need to, if you want to be off-grid, you need to store electricity in batteries. Everybody knows how much batteries cost today. So we store energy in water. During the night, we need only very small amount of energy in order to circulate the water with a very small pumps. So we can operate off-grid with a relatively small solar field. And we also develop a very unique smart algorithms to control the systems that enable us to even more make the system efficient. The current status, the EasyPure for purification is ready, and you already have initial installation in the United States and in Colombia. The EasyCont, we finished first pilot in Israel, and we're looking for additional pilots in 2022. And the first installation of the EasyPure desalination is planned to 2022.
1 minute, please.
We are in a round one, $3 to $5 million investment round. We have currently 5 employees. In the first quarter of first half of 22, we'll increase to about 15. We're facing the challenges of funding, supply chain, to secure the supply chain. This is a very challenging thing in these days. And of course, establishing marketing network over the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to invite Boaz Cantor, please, for his question.
Thank you. Can I stay seated or should I go there? Hi, my name is Boaz. I want to thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be a judge in this competition, and I want to congratulate all the startups for providing really excellent presentations and developing great startups. So I'm a technology expert and a venture capitalist working on climate technologies. And those are kind of three heads, and those three heads have one question for you. So the VC or the investor head, as some of us are here investors, would really like to deploy capital in your company, but we want to see fast growth. Now, the climate passionate head thinks there's growing demand for your technologies and really want to see you growing fast and deploying your technology worldwide and fast. Now, my technology head says there's lots of hardware here, complicated hardware. There might be some challenges here. So my question is, could you elaborate? You mentioned your challenges. Can you elaborate or perhaps mention one thing, assuming you have the capital, one thing that would be your challenge in fast or global deployment of your technologies wherever it's needed in the market?
I would say the first and most important challenge is to be able to build the marketing network. I mean, there is no way we sell those systems from Israel without local representation. So in every country you want to be, we need to find partners that will do the sale and we do the after the support. It's not a lot of support, but still you need to support the system. So this is the biggest challenge. Currently, the main things that prevent us from growing is resources for marketing. That's why we're going for the round A, mainly for marketing. The other challenge, which become very significant one in the last year, is what I mentioned, the supply chain. Long lead times, very hard time to find a reliable supplier, and shipping, which something that 2 years ago would take you 2 months, may take you now 6 months. It requires a lot of planning in advance, more working capital, and some presence in the countries that you want to be in order to be able to support the market.
Thank you. And just to finish optimistically, I think you'll face these challenges successfully. I think everyone here will be happy to help. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to invite, please, Sally Krop, Karmit.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. My name is Karmit Aron. I'm the CEO at Sally Krop, and I'm happy to represent also a female-led venture as well, by the way. So what are we doing at Sally Krop? We're optimizing yield under soil salinity and climate change conditions. So soil is an important resource to help us grow the food we need. So 95% of our food comes directly or indirectly from the soil. Out of 13 billion hectares of land available worldwide, only about 1.4 billion hectares are presently suitable for agriculture. Every year, 75 billion tons of fertile soils are lost to land degradation. The loss of those 75 billion tons of soil from arable land is estimating to cost 400 billion each year in loss of agricultural production. The annual cereal production losses due to the erosion have been estimated in 7.6 million tons per year. This is very big numbers. And we do know that more than 50% of all arable land will be salinized by 2050 due to climate change. Salinization of soil is negatively impacting plant development and induces land degradation. How can we overcome soil degradation? So we bring one of the solutions, which is our seed innovation. Sally Krop is a seed enhancement technology designed to improve the vitality and the performance of vegetables and cereal crops, and in this way to contribute to the global food security. So we did discuss about the benefits, the overall improved productivity, and the improved salinity tolerance in the saline areas. Salicrop solution is using a formula which is tailor-made specifically to enhance the plant's metabolic activity under soil salinity, heat, and drought. The formula induces the crops to grow well in high salinity soils when irrigated with brackish water. The solution is both cost-effective and is, of course, scalable. So by today, we have secured already more than 50 field trials in Israel and in India, in cereal crops and in vegetable crops. And we can indicate those later. And in the product stage, we're actually looking to secure field trials around the world with partners. Specifically, we're looking to grow. The first market is Spain and South America. Today, the company has raised seed funding of $2 million. Our main challenges is, of course, trying to get, later on we'll understand the framing of the business, but developing solutions for smallholder farmers which are not using or not buying seeds from the seed companies, but rather are using their own open varieties, scaling up field trials worldwide, and finding a joint venture and a design partner to help us treat cereal crops, which is a huge challenge.
1 minute, please.
Okay. So I'm so proud to take this lead with this great team. Our chief scientist is Rucha Goodball. She's actually Indian. We have our head of R&D, Sharon Dvir. Myself, I come with many years of business growth and development. Gunen Paz, who is doing our business development in South America, and our 2 agronomists that are overlooking and managing our activity with farmers in Israel. So let's keep our souls healthy.
Thank you very much. And now for the question, please, Dr. Ifat Bareket, from a board member of Mata Association.
Hi, thank you very much for an interesting presentation. 2 questions as well. First, if you can refer to your IP status, and the second one, competing technology, other technology dealing with coating to protect the seeds. So can you refer to your special technology, refer to those technologies?
Thank you. The formula cannot be IP'd, so the formula cannot be, we don't have an IP for the formula, but it's a trade secret. By today, we have more than 100 protocols, which puts us in a very, very good situation. In terms of the second question, we have a different patent, but I don't want to go into that. I'll be happy to elaborate later. And in terms of competition, so we do know there's a lot of activity around the world. Incotech is one of the leading companies, was acquired by Corda 5 years ago. They're doing priming, and we are looking at ourselves as extended priming, which were not only good for the germination, but rather for the whole crop cycle. So we do, the priming is usually used for small seeds, which are the vegetable seeds. And let's say our vision is also to implement this extended priming to cereal crops. So I'm not sure I mentioned, but we already are treating today in our field trials and with great results, rice, wheat, corn, barley, tomatoes, capsicum, onion, and carrots. And our great results are also indicated in our website. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I invite Thermoterra, please. Shachar Vano.
I'm very excited and honored to be here and present Thermoterra Innovative Smart Wall System. Energy consumed in the building sector is one of the largest of all sector, and therefore one of the largest greenhouse gas emitter sector. Accelerated by climate change, the energy of heating and cooling of building is rising correspondingly. This energy is about 65% of the total energy consumption of a building. Our smart wall solution provide a new renewable energy source, which is based on a natural fluctuation of relative humidity and temperature. These fluctuations are especially high in desert environments, as I'll show in a minute. Just to give you maybe a better feeling of what I'm talking about, so I think we can all agree, if I would spray water around this room, two things are very likely to happen. One, the temperature will drop, and the second, the humidity will rise. So this is evaporative cooling in short. What we do, we harness evaporative cooling, making the walls the cooling device itself. I'll focus on the cooling effect, but we can also provide heating using the reverse process. The graph is a relative humidity fluctuation here in Beersheba, and what I want to emphasize here is the wide band, so somewhere between 20 to 90% of relative humidity. And since this is our source of power, we are very happy to see that it is very wide throughout the year. As for the temperature fluctuation, again, very wide temperature fluctuation, which is common to desert area. The two dashed line, in between the two dashed line are the comfort zone. In other words, this is where we want to be. The orange line is a result of a validated thermal simulation. And what we can see here is great savings in cooling, in the cooling effect, almost eliminating the cooling effect, and also great significant results for heating. I want to say that this was validated together with the TransSolar, which is a well-known German company that has been used in the market. So these results are validated. And how do we do it? You probably ask yourself. So on the leftmost picture, you can see a hempcrete wall. So by integrating absorptive material into a wall, we turn it into a heating or cooling device while balancing air quality and humidity. So leftmost illustrated, once we load or unload our wall, the way to transmit that energy is in one of the two ways. So either radiative cooling or heating, or convective cooling or heating, which means basically blow air into the room. A report we did together with the TransSolar, and we have a laboratory test and also a theoretical analysis.
1 minute.
The product stage that we are at, we have working prototypes in two construction verticals and complete our first demonstration wall in a customer building. I'll jump right into the investment stage. We got funded by the Israeli Minister of Infrastructure for 2 years of POC, and we are looking for more funding. Current challenges, approaching a conservative consumer market, construction market, integrating into a commercial construction method, so scaling up can happen by contractors, approving our energy saving capability, so our technology can give green credits in the green building standards, and funding before have a full demonstration building. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now, please, Yossi Abramovich from Energia Gigawatt.
And hi, Toda Shachar. First of all, I just want to thank the whole DeserTech team. This is, Israel really can provide these kinds of solutions. It's very, very, very exciting. I just hope that when we're thinking about exporting to all these desert places, we also take care of the people in our desert here. So let's not forget that. I guess it's essentially some of the two same questions. Where's the IP? What is the IP? And the second is, what needs to change in the building codes for your business model to work? And is there a business model for retrofitting buildings as well to be able to use the technology? Thank you.
Okay, so about the IP, we have one registered patent, and this is from 2015, and two others that are in a different process from 2018. More information about that would be with the CEO. He's not feeling well, and I'm taking his place. About the green building standards, or sorry, the business model?
For your business model to work, you probably have to make some changes in building codes, right? To be able to allow it or to mandate it in desert conditions. And could you retrofit existing buildings, or will only work on new buildings?
Okay, so I don't think we need to change any of the building codes, since the walls are not constructive elements. So these could be infill for the walls. We only need the walls or that part of the wall to be from absorptive material. So I gave an example of hemp, but earth-based material, which are now getting more and more popular because they have very low embodied energy, for example. And so these can be a very good material for us.
So I missed that. You can cover a building with hemp and it'll lower your energy cost by 34%?
Sure, but I will not only cover it with hemp. The idea, and maybe the IP that you were referring to, let's say that we have two parts in the system. The stupid part is the wall with the absorptive material, and this is only pipes running into the walls, and this is already, I can elaborate about that. So this is only the technical solution, if I can say that, with fans blowing air from inside to the outside, and can also, so the real, or the core of the patent is the software behind it that will know if now we want to take air from inside to the inside, or maybe we want the air from the inside to the outside. And maybe we can also predict, I can load my wall with humidity and later on releases in a hot day. So I can really load, and you can imagine we can even have reservoirs of that material in the wall or in other places, in the roof as well.
Thank you all finalists, and now the judging committee, please make your votes. I want to invite Sinai Goar Barak, the International Collaborations Manager of DeserTech Community, to take it from here.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much. It's so great to be here. So if I can have the slide back, please. Our slide. Yeah, okay. So recently in October, we launched the DeserTech competition, and we launched two international tracks, the UK and the Netherlands tracks. And now let's focus on them, because I think it's really interesting to see the types of companies that applied to this competition. Basically what we did, we invited them to come apply for a DeserTech adaptation seminar here in Israel, to come to engage with this sector, and to adapt their technology to address global desert challenges. And when we launched the competition, so we were really curious to see what types of companies will apply to the competition, what are their technologies, what are they trying to achieve, why is it interesting for them, what would they like to gain from coming here to Beersheba, to this emerging or already a global hub for desert technologies. And I think it will be very interesting also for you to see the applications and see the people behind the companies that applied to the competition. So just before I'm going to show you the short film that we did, I want to say a really big thank you to the judging committee, both of the Netherlands Embassy, the Netherlands track, and of the UK track. You've been great partners, and thank you for your professionalism. And also thank you for promoting this opportunity in the Netherlands and the UK. We really needed your support in this, and it was very helpful. I also want to thank our partners from the Netherlands Embassy in Israel, and also our partners from the UK, the British Embassy in Israel, the whole Green Grown Alliance, and the British Council. So let's see the winners.
We optimize crop production through advanced cultivation techniques, enhancing yields and quality traits to achieve target outcomes in a cost-competitive way. The goal is to better understand how our own technology can be more applicable, beneficial, and scalable in the region as a whole.
Aquapulse is a totally natural, non-chemical and organic water technology which delivers environmental, sustainability and commercial benefits across a number of market sectors. These include agriculture, grown produce and fish farming. We're very excited to potentially play a part in the DeserTech initiative, where we feel we can add considerable value.
Alvatech enables millions of farmers around the world increase their crop quantity and quality
considerably reduce water usage and improve soil health even when using saline water, all with a sustainable, solar-powered and highly affordable technology. We are excited to install and test our technology in the desert conditions of the south of Israel and see how it can impact the many farmers in the area and in the neighboring countries.
We're developing a wave-powered desalination system which generates fresh water directly from wave energy. At the DeserTech seminar, we would like to gain an understanding of the potential for this technology in Israel, locate suitable sites for its deployment, and meet potential partners with whom we could deliver a product to meet the needs identified.
At Aquagrain, we have developed a water-absorbing soil improver from organic food industry waste that allows plants to be grown in arid lands and sandy soils with up to 50% less water. We would like to introduce that technology at DeserTech to find regional partners to trial and adopt the technology.
We're an ion exchange expertise company who've developed a better solution to the problem of removing nitrate from drinking water. Water companies buy in one product to remove the nitrate and then they throw it away. And the farm next door buys an almost identical product. With AgriDB, we've changed the product the water company buys. They then improve it and it's reused on the farm. So this saves both money and carbon, and most importantly gets agriculture moving towards the more efficient use of both water and nutrients.
My company is specialized in modular, biological, temperature-controlled wastewater treatment with the optional extra treatment step of ozone and UV. Our effluent is ready for reuse. We are looking for partners in Israel that can help us with the implementation and maybe some specific improvements for this arid region.
SolarDo has developed a unique solar desalination product to provide households and off-grid communities with simple and reliable and affordable sources of drinking water. By attending the DeserTech seminar, we hope to gain further insights into the unique demands of desert communities and find partners to help us provide solutions to those that need most.
Our mission is to enable the transition towards sustainable food provision. Our product is a solar thermal-based energy system enabling the deployment of greenhouse farms everywhere.
With the Aquagrain shell, we prevent flooding and make rainwater available for reuse during longer periods of drought with natural, circular and renewable materials. With the seashells, we buffer rainwater in a very fast way, and with minerals, we purify it to make it available for reuse. We expect to find partners and projects during the DeserTech and look forward to see you there.
We really hope we can be part of the DeserTech seminar next year so we can share our vision, show our technology and explore possibilities for collaboration on tackling climate issues.
We are ZigZag Solar, the solar facade system. It harvests solar energy and blocks heat from buildings. It's affordable, high-tech, cost-effective and very good looking for every building. At DeserTech we're looking for partners who help us in the fight against climate change, air pollution, grid congestion and high cost of electricity in desert environments.
We've developed the world's first solar thermal desalination technology. No harmful chemicals, and we can produce water at a very affordable price. We're very excited about the DeserTech program out of Beersheba, and we see huge opportunities not only in Israel but in the surrounding region as well, and this could be a great platform for us to take our solution forward.
AgriSim solves problems for farmers by optimizing farmer open land and cultivation by using very big data, artificial intelligence and other smart solutions.
Using the power of Earth observation satellites, we deliver reliable and cost-effective decision support information to support farmers and water management authorities to manage their resources in a sustainable way. DeserTech will enable us to show the value of our information for sustainable water management in a region where this is urgently needed.
Thank you very much to all these companies. I think it's going to be a really, really, really interesting seminar. So we'll see you all in March 2022. Now I want to invite Nicole Hotstraw, the Managing Director of the Mirage Foundation Israel.
Hello, everyone. It's so exciting. We were just talking with Jonathan. When we started dreaming about this about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and where we are today. We have a thriving DeserTech ecosystem meeting here in Beersheba, Israel's Negev capital. And when I see your faces, it really it's self-evident why we decided as the Mirage Foundation to invest in this sector. We have here all the assets any thriving ecosystem can ask for. We have innovation organizations and incubators that we have the pleasure of partnering with so many of you. We have philanthropists. We have investors. We have dozens of startups here and online. I don't know if you're aware that there's a few dozen people, maybe 100, joining us virtually. And we have local government, members of Beersheba municipality. We have national government, our dear partners from the Ministry of Environmental Protection, whose vision is becoming a reality. And we have the startups, the most important aspect, and industry leaders as well. So we're all about systems change. We're not about creating jobs, we're about creating prosperity, and we really think that the combination of these talents, this energy, these assets, this know-how, 60 years of research and development, and packaging that into commercializable products and services that could really help the world cope with this terrible, scary crisis while creating inclusive prosperity in the Negev. And by inclusive meaning no one stays behind. Our Bedouin community in the region, our local community, marginalized communities, women have to be part of this process. And we really think it's possible, and this just reassures that it's possible. I want to thank the team, first of all, Sivan, Sinai, Hillel. Amazing, amazing. And I want to thank our dear partners, the Israel Innovation Institute, Jonathan and Doron, who are here. When I came to you about a year and a half saying, okay, let's create a DeserTech innovation community, let's do it together, I didn't dream that we would be able to create this wonderful partnership, your professionalism, experience, high standards, your willingness to think big, and like David Mirage says, you either go big or you go home, and that's exactly what we're doing. So really, it's been a pleasure. Our partners from Ben Gurion University, Dan Bloomberg, who came to me, we sat there in Ramat Aviv in the canyon, and he told me there's something big going on in Beersheba with the Innovation District, and DeserTech is going to be the growth engine of this district, and we want you to be partners, and I said yes. And then I met with Galit Cohen, the Director General of the Ministry of Environmental Protection, who came with the same vision. And she's not here today with us, but she's joining us from maybe virtually, and we have Rotem here. And the wonderful people at the Beersheba municipality, and also of so many other municipalities in the Negev that we're so proud. This is not just Beersheba, this is a tremendous spillover effect for the entire region. So thank you very much, and good luck to the finalists. Let's see who's gonna win the competition. And thank you, of course, to our competition partners, ICA and Mata Foundations, who are giving a very significant investment for a Negev-based company. And, of course, our friends from the British and Netherlands embassies and British Council. Thank you so much for joining us today and for seeing this vision and becoming our partners. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Please stay with us on stage. And now, for the winners. This is it. I want to invite Yonatan Menuchin, please join us. Rotem Shammai from the Ministry of Environmental Protection. Professor Dan Bloomberg from Ben Gurion University, please join us on stage. I want to first of all invite our partners from Mata Association and ICA in Israel Foundation. Mr. Gidon Shavit, please join us. And Dr. Ifat Bareket, board member of Mata Association. Gidon, do you want to say a few words before we announce?
Unfortunately, Zev Miller, the CEO of ICA Foundation, is not here today. They asked me to represent him as well because both of us are the investors in one of the competition to invest in one company in the Negev. First, I would like to thank Mirage Foundation for initiate this competition and invite us to be part of it. It's really a pleasure and doing a great job. I believe all of you. Mata is not well known, but we are investing for many years in startup only in the Negev. It's initiated by the Nuclear Resource Center in the Negev to give back to the community working here in the Negev. I take this opportunity to call upon the high-tech companies to join us and invest on issues of desertification. 60% of the state of Israel is desert. And we believe that together we can make it bloom. We must channel our investment to companies that develop products and services that solve the global threat of climate change. The new inventions and the new technology can be the game changer. We are here to support it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the winner for the Negev-based company, who was very, it was very tight, but we want to invite Thermotera, please. Won an investment of $75,000 by Mata Association and ICA Foundation. Mata Association and ICA in Israel Foundation. Thank you very much. I want to invite Shirley Shachar, CEO of Dana Accelerator, to announce the early stage startups, please. And the winners are BR. Winner of the early stage GIS. For the second stage, I want to invite, please, Liat Sverdlov from our crowd and Eli Ben Simon from SIBF. And the winners are, please. And the second winner of the late stage is Sally Kopp. Thank you very much, all of you who joined us this evening. I want to wish a very much good luck to all the winners and much appreciation to all of the applicants who join us in this competition. See you next time in the desert and have a very good evening.